Hey everyone, welcome to Waypoint Outdoors. Thanks for tuning in. Tonight what we're going to be doing is we are going to be wrapping our Carbon SS sticks with the Stealth Strip pack that you can get right from Latitude Outdoors. We're also going to be adding the glow tape with some adhesive and the one-step aiders. So one of the things that's nice about doing these stealth strips is it really reduces the noise that accidentally can happen as you're climbing up a tree or packing through the woods. It really dampens the noise. It doesn't eliminate it, but it definitely makes a big difference. So the first thing we're going to do, I already have the attachment rope attached. You want to take that off. We'll put that back on later. First thing we're going to do is we are going to install the glow tape, which is adhesive tape with some friction on it on the top and bottom steps. Now you get this right through Latitude Outdoors. One pack comes with 4 pieces, which is good for one stick. So if you have 4 sticks, you're going to need 4 packs. And here's what they look like. So what I always want to make sure I have is I always put a top and a bottom together. See, there are a left and a right, so just make sure you have them a left and a right. So now I have a set and I have a set. The hardest part about these for me, because I don't have any nails, is getting the paper off the back. And this one actually came off fairly easy. So you do want to try to take it all in one piece. Sometimes a little paper is left over, which is not a big deal. You just have to scrape it off and make sure that comes off. And this corner little piece right here is always an issue. You just want to be careful because there's not much there holding it together. So now what you're going to do is you're going to line it up with your step. Once you have it lined up, just going to set it down. And lightly, what I do is I lightly touch it down just to make sure it's all good. I'm flush. And then I like to put pressure on every square inch of the pad. We're going to do that on all 4 steps. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to line it up. Get it about right. Make sure everything's good and square on it. And I'm going to press it down. And get it down. So the glow tape is now on. Again, make sure it's all patted down. Next thing we're going to do, so when you have the stealth strip kit, what you're going to need is a sharp pair of scissors. I have a Sharpie marker, and I'll explain that in a minute. Then we have the kit that you can buy from Latitude Outdoors. What comes in the kit is 2 long pieces and 1 square piece. 2 long pieces are for the shaft itself, and the square piece is to be cut into 3 to 4 sections for the top and the bottom steps. Now I have really bad OCD, so this bottom step, we're going to put the bottom pieces on first. This bottom step is all one piece. There's no separation in them. And when you use this square, you're actually overlapping just a little bit in the middle. And what I did is I went and bought the exact same camouflage roll of the stealth strip that I got from Latitude. I got this on Amazon. And what I do is I just kind of make this bottom piece all one piece. What they want you to do is kind of wing it. So what I do is I kind of mark the length that I want with my scissors. Once I have my length, what I'm going to do when I measure for the thickness is I lay it onto the piece, I lay it onto the step itself, and I kind of eyeball it. I usually make it a little bit wider. So now I have a mark for the width. And then what I'll do is I'll just eyeball trying to get the same width. But I know I'm not going to go any narrower than that. And I'll just cut this one piece for that whole bottom step instead of having two. And I'll have this left over, which any leftover pieces I always keep. I can use it for carabiners, clasps, pretty much anything that I might have metal on my saddle. I can always wrap it in that. They always come in useful, so I always make sure I keep all my leftovers. Then what I do is, instead of taking it all off, I always start just a corner. Start just a corner like this, and I'll place it, and I'll kind of bend it over on top of itself, so I'm not getting it stuck to anything. I'll place it right on this top rung with a little bit of overlap on the top. And then, knowing that I'm going to put the aider on after, I want to make sure that I get it tight into that corner. Now I can pull this off a little bit easier. And if you use stealth strip before, it kind of stretches a little bit. So I always want to pull it tight. Again, making sure I get it into that corner. And what I'm going to do is, now I'm just going to kind of round the edges on everything. Kind of make sure that dirt and moisture doesn't get underneath the tape. Okay, we're going to do the same thing for the top. Now with the top, I can either use the piece that I had cut, which is probably pretty close, or I can actually use the piece that they sent. Again, what I do is I just kind of mark it by eye. I like to do a little bit wider, only because the bottom of the stick itself gets a little wider, so I always like to make it a little wider to begin with. So again, now I'll just eyeball this, peel off the corner here. Now on these with two pieces, it's not as long, so I will just take this whole piece off. I'm going to wrap it around the top like so. Peel it down. Now I'm going to press it. Now I'm going to roll the edges again. I'm going to repeat this on this side. Again, I'll just make it a little bit wider. Now what I have left over is the two pieces from the roll and a decent piece from the square that they sent. Again, you don't have to do this. You can overlap it. I just like doing it because I like that bottom piece to be all one. Wrap it up to the top a little bit. And then again, roll the edges. So now we've got the bottom and the bottom of the top steps done. So now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to actually wrap the post. And again, these come in the exact same length of this post, so there's not any measuring or making sure that it's going to be this right width to cover the whole post. They made it really easy and convenient. So what I always do, and this is something, again, this is my OCD, I take this felt tip marker and I kind of make a dot where I think the metal of the tape is. To me, just makes it easier when I'm placing it on the post itself. So I'm going to take this tape, the paper off the back, and I'll pull that all off. Now that I have those dots, I can kind of line that dot up with the center of the post. And by doing so, as long as it's not held down, it's fairly easy to move. Now I know it's pretty well centered. So now what you have to do is you have the wings for the tie-on. So what you want to do is, what you hear a lot of people say, just clip at the wings, but really where the wings meet the post, it's a lot more narrow. And if you look as well, there's not a lot of access to cut off. So what I always say is look underneath, and where you want to cut to the width of where the wings meet the post, just make a little slit. It doesn't have to be big. And then what we're going to do is we're going to cut this piece off. This is where you need a good sharp scissors. This isn't the easiest to cut, but you don't cut much off. So I've cut that little wing piece off. Now before I fold that under, I'm going to do the same on the other side. Now that I have that, I'm going to fold this piece under, like so. On this side, fold it under. Then I'm going to do the same on this side. So we've got the front of the step done. So now it's just repeat on the back of the step. Now I'm going to wrap this down, and it will overlap the piece that you put on the front, which is kind of nice. Like so. It's all one piece. And on this side we're going to do the same thing. And there you have it. Real simple, real easy. It's really dampening. The cell strips really dampen any noise that could come. So next what we're going to do is I am going to attach the one stick gator. Now with the one stick gator there's some options that you can do with them, and these are options that you do on your own. On one of mine I have right now, I put a 6-inch piece of 1/2-inch pecs just so I can feel it with my foot. Maybe on the way down at night, you know, it's a lot easier to feel that 1/2-inch pecs than it would be, you know, just trying to find that rope. Some drawbacks to that is it kind of makes it a little bit more cumbersome to pack and stow. Not impossible. So I'm going to try both ways. But these one-step baiters are really, really nice. It's going to get you that extra, you know, that extra one step on each of these. I think these are 17 inches step to step, so not quite 20. With these one stick aiders, all you're going to do is you're going to wrap it around this bottom post. You're going to pull this tight. These are am steel, so very, very strong. Pull it nice and tight. You can put it around this post as well. Pull that in tight. Now the question is, how do I pack these? Well, again, each person's going to find their own different way to do it, but what I have found is if you wrap it around, just around the side, it will wrap around this bottom post like that. So it's going to effectively stow the exact same way your attachment rope does. So I'm going to attach this back in. Around back and front. There you have it. So super easy process, very much worth the money. It's going to quiet your system and your setup. So I highly suggest getting these. Again, you can get them right through Latitude Outdoors. Again, for each pack, whether it's the glow tape or the stealth strip, it's 1 pack per stick. So if you have 3 sticks, you only need 3 packs. If you have 4, you need 4. But super easy and super simple to install. So the next thing we're going to be doing on our channel is I am going to be comparing the Carbon SS stick to the Muddy Pro sticks, as well as
the Hawk Heliums. Now the Hawk Heliums are 30-inch. I did modify these with the cam cleat, and I also got the rope mods from Hang Free. I'll put all the product descriptions and links to where to get these into the description, but it's going to be real interesting to see just the difference between all three of these sticks. We're going to do weight tests. We're going to do, reach and how high we can get with each stick. I got sets of 4 of each. So if you want to see this comparison, make sure you hit the notify button. Please like and subscribe to our channel. Appreciate you tuning in. Thanks for watching Waypoint Outdoors, where we are literally finding our way one step at a time. Thanks.